Chapter 781, Just You Wait. Ease reading on Novel Cool. Omicron. Wang Yun stared at Yi Li. As the young master of the Wang family of the Mystic Land, ordinary people would naturally be extremely respectful when they saw him. They had never seen someone as arrogant as Yi Li. Don't you think you're too arrogant? Wang Yun stared at Yi Li. The people outside Heavenly Fragrance Inn also felt that Yi Li was too arrogant. They really could not imagine what kind of shocking background Yi Li had to be so arrogant. I've always been this arrogant. Yi Li looked at Wang Yun indifferently and continued, I, Yi Li, am so arrogant. Are you not convinced? You. Wang Yun and Lin Yang were extremely angry. They glared at Yi Li angrily. Brat, do you know who young Master Wang is? Lin Yang stared at Yi Li and shouted angrily. Yi Li smiled calmly and said calmly, why would one need to know? In front of me, the young Master Wang you speak of is like an ant. As soon as these words were spoken, Wang Yun and Lin Yang were furious. Brat, since there's a path to heaven, but you don't take it, there is no gate to hell, but you force your way in, then one can only fulfill your wish. With that, Lin Yang shouted, attack. As soon as he finished speaking, the few Tier 1 transcenders beside Lin Yang all rushed towards Yi Li. Yi Li shook his head slightly. He really did not understand why there were always so many ants who chose to find trouble with him. Did they get carried away, or was Yi Li unable to lift the knife anymore? However, just as the Tier 1 transcenders took a step forward, they were sent flying. How is this possible? Wang Yun and Lin Yang were shocked. They didn't see how Yi Li attacked at all, but these Tier 1 transcenders were sent flying. In their eyes, this was simply too unbelievable. How did you do it? Lin Yang stared at Yi Li and asked. Yi Li smiled and said calmly, do you think one will tell you? When Lin Yang heard this, he instantly flew into a rage. Arrogant brat. Immediately, Lin Yang raised his fist and attacked Yi Li at an extremely fast speed. Unfortunately, he was facing Yi Li, the Demon King Yi Li. Lin Yang was only a Tier 1 chosen one. When facing Yi Li, he was really not enough. Ah! With a wind-breaking sound, a shocking bloody hole appeared on Lin Yang's right leg. It was really terrifying. Well, Wang Yun and the others were stunned. They looked at the scene in front of them with their mouths agape, unable to believe that it was real. I told you, you're just ants. Why don't you believe me? Yi Li shook his head and sighed. Silence. Dead silence again. All right. I, Wang Yun, have lost today, but just you wait. After Wang Yun finished speaking, he hurriedly left. Even Lin Yang was not Yi Li's match, so he naturally knew that he was even more so. Just you wait. Lin Yang endured the pain and left. Yi Li could imagine that Wang Yun and Lin Yang had both gone to call for help. However, he was here to eat and did not have the time to think about such boring things. Let's go in. Yi Li said to the 5 women. The 5 women nodded and walked into Heavenly Fragrance Inn. No one dared to stop them. Chapter 782, 5th Elder of the Lin Family. Ease reading on Novel Cool. Omicron. Yi Li and the 5 girls arrived at the 7th floor of the Heavenly Fragrance Inn. There was no need to say anything about the decoration and the grandeur. As expected of the best inn in the Mystic Land. The waiter hurried over and looked at Yi Li in shock. Sir, what would you like? Whatever's good. Yi Li said frankly. The waiter quickly walked away. Senior, you're really amazing, Xiao Yu looked at Yi Li and said. Not long after, the delicacies were served. The 5 women began to eat, their faces filled with satisfaction. Oh my God, this is too delicious, the 5 women said in unison. Yi Li ate very quickly, like the autumn wind sweeping away fallen leaves. After eating and drinking their fill, Yi Li saw a group of people. Brat! A loud shout sounded from the 7th floor of the Heavenly Fragrance Inn. Lin Yang brought an old man over. This old man looked sage-like and was about 70 years old. I heard that someone barged into our heavenly fragrance inn. He must have eaten a bear's heart and a leopard's gall. This sage-like old man shouted coldly at Yi Li. The expression on his old face was extremely cold. Yi Li smiled to himself. There would always be people looking for trouble with him. How boring. The key was that the person looking for trouble with him was an ant. This was ridiculous. The old man's name was Lin He. He was an elder of the Lin family, a tier 3 chosen one. Lin He came in front of Yi Li and stared at him. Are you the ones who barged into my heavenly fragrance inn? Yi Li nodded. That's right, it's us. Lin Yang looked at the indifferent expression on Yi Li's face and could not help but be extremely angry. At this point, how can you still be so calm? This is the 5th elder of my Lin family. Lin Yang stared at Yi Li and said coldly. After saying that, Lin Yang's face revealed a smug expression. It was as if Yi Li would pee his pants in fear when he heard that the 5th elder of the Lin family was here. An ant, Yi Li said slowly. What? Lin Yang and the dozen or so transcender he brought were all shocked. They did not expect Yi Li to dare to say such a thing. You actually dare to say such words to the 5th elder of my Lin family? Lin Yang shouted coldly. Yi Li smiled leisurely. What 5th elder? He's just a pitifully weak ant. 5th elder Lin He laughed instead of getting angry. He snorted several times. Brat, you're bold. In the eyes of the 5th elder, Lin He had never seen anyone as bold as Yi Li. I advise you to leave quickly. Otherwise, when my master gets angry, your outcome will be very tragic. Qing Ruo smiled sweetly at the Lin family. Everyone from the Lin family was stunned. Was this human language? My disciple is right. I'll give you 1 second to leave. Yi Li's handsome face revealed a playful smile. Lin Yang was furious. Anger surged out of his head as he glared at Yi Li. I think you're looking for death. With that, Lin Yang shouted at the dozen or so transcenders behind him, attack. With Lin Yang's order, more than a dozen transcenders began to attack Yi Li, air. However, just as they took a step forward, they were sent flying. When they landed on the ground, they did not know how they were sent flying. What? Lin Yang and 5th elder Lin He's expressions changed because they didn't see how Yi Li attacked. Yi Li looked at the transcenders on the ground and said slowly, I told you to leave, but you didn't. Are you deaf? Chapter 783, Do you really want to know my name? Ease reading on novel cool. Omicron M. Lin Yang and the 5th elder, Lin He, were shocked. They stared at Yi Li. Do you know what kind of existence our Lin family is? Lin He said coldly. Yi Li smiled and looked at 5th elder Lin He indifferently. Why would one need to know what kind of existence your Lin family is? I just need to know that you are all ants. As soon as these words were spoken, 5th elder Lin He was furious. Brat, I'll take your life. As soon as he finished speaking, the 5th elder raised his palm and hit Yi Li fiercely. A shocking spirit chi flew towards Yi Li at an extremely fast speed. Yi Li shook his head slightly. He really didn't know how Lin He dared to attack him. He had no intention of dodging or resisting. Instead, he took out his wine glass and slowly moved it to his mouth. The 5 women were shocked. They really didn't understand why Yi Li didn't dodge. Could it be that he didn't see it? Boom! Terrifying spiritual energy hit Yi Li's body. How is it possible? However, 5th elder Lin He shouted loudly. His pupils could not help but constrict rapidly, as if he had seen something that would never happen. This was because when the terrifying spiritual energy hit Yi Li's body, he didn't receive any damage. The 5 women and Lin Yang were all stunned as they looked at Yi Li dumbfoundedly. An ant is only worthy of tickling me. Yi Li looked at 5th elder Lin He indifferently and said. At this moment, how could Lin He still be able to say a complete sentence? He looked at Yili in horror. You, who exactly are you? The fifth elder asked in shock. Yili smiled and said calmly, do you really want to know my name? Alright, I'll tell you then. After that, Yili looked at fifth elder Lin He playfully. My name is Yili. Yili. Fifth elder Lin He and Lin Yang were both stunned. They thought carefully, and then their eyes widened for the largest time in history. They thought of a shocking possibility. Yili, the Demon King Yili. You are Demon King Yili. Lin He looked at Yili in horror. Looks like you're not stupid, Yili said slowly. Fifth elder Lin He and Lin Yang both took a few steps back and were already shocked. Thud. With a thud, fifth elder Lin He knelt in front of Yili and kept kowtowing to him. Lord Demon King, I was blind. I'm not human, I'm an idiot. When Lin Yang saw this, he hurriedly knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Yili. I'm sorry, Lord Demon King. Please let us go. There was no need to talk about Yili's reputation in the Mystic Land. Everyone knew about him. Fifth elder Lin He and Lin Yang were quite smart. If they continued to offend Yili, they knew that not only them, but even the Lin family would be in trouble. Do you think I, Yili, will lower myself to your level? Yili looked at Lin He and Lin Yang indifferently. When Lin He and Lin Yang heard this, they instantly felt as if they had been pardoned. Thank you, Lord Demon King. Thank you, Lord Demon King. The two of them hurriedly kowtowed to Yili again. Let's go. Yili looked at the 5 women. The 5 women nodded and Yili and the 5 women left the 7th floor of the Heavenly Fragrance Inn. Lin He and Lin Yang looked at each other. Their bodies were already drenched in cold sweat and they were terrified. Chapter 784, Mystic City Ease Reading on Novel Cool. Omicron M. Lin He and Lin Yang looked at each other. I'll report this to the family head. Lin He said. Lin Yang nodded. Fifth elder, let's go back quickly. Then, Lin Yang and Lin He rushed towards the Lin family at the fastest speed in history, wishing they had 100 legs. Yili and the 5 women returned to the Demon King Palace. He thought about how the Apocalypse Legion hadn't come back yet. Cultivation didn't seem to be interesting. As long as he wanted to level up, he could always level up inadvertently. This mystic land was so big, and there were many places he had never been to. For example, the mystic city in the center of the mystic land, the 5 great families, and the divine list. Although Yili knew about this, he had never been there before. The next day, Yili headed towards Mystic City. Mystic City. Mystic City was the largest city in the Mystic Land. There were countless genetic warriors here. Of course, there were also many ordinary people. When Yili was about to reach Mystic City, he saw a group of genetic warriors fighting a dark race member. This was a venerable level dark race member, but these genetic warriors were definitely very strong. Not long after, this venerable level dark race member died. Family head, the dark race members of the Black Demon Mountain always come to Mystic City to cause trouble. A genetic warrior said to an old man. This old man was around 70 years old. He was actually a 6th-tier chosen one. The 5 great families of the Mystic Land guard the 5 directions of the north, south, east, west and middle respectively. We're the ones who contributed. His Wang family doesn't have to contribute at all, the old man said coldly. The Wang family was the strongest family in Mystic City. They were in charge of the center. If the dark race members wanted to invade Mystic City, it would be a fantasy. However, the Wang family was the strongest family in Mystic City. Ha! Everyone from the Lin family, stay here today. Suddenly, more than 10 venerable level dark race members appeared in front of these genetic warriors. All of them were tier 4 venerable level dark race members. The Lin family? Yili thought that it should be Lin He and Lin Yang's family. The genetic warriors of the Lin family looked at the dozen or so venerable level dark race members in front of them and could not help but be shocked. I didn't expect your Black Demon Mountain to pay such a huge price. Even the 12 generals have been mobilized. The old man said coldly. The old man was Lin Zhanshan, the clan leader of the Lin clan. He was ranked third on the divine list. These dark race members all laughed coldly. Lin Zhantian, I'm going to turn you into ashes today. With just you guys? Lin Zhanshan laughed disdainfully. Immediately, the genetic warriors of the Lin family and the 12 generals of the Black Demon Mountain began to engage in a chaotic battle. Yi Li looked at the battle in front of him playfully. To be honest, he was not interested in the battle of these ants. Ding! Host, as long as you help the genetic warriors of the Lin family, you can obtain some news. Suddenly, the system's voice appeared in Yi Li's mind. Yi Li was stunned. Was there such a thing? That couldn't be. However, Yi Li naturally knew that the system wouldn't lie to him. Since it wanted him to save them, so be it. Stop it. Just as the genetic warriors of the Lin family and the 12 generals of the Black Demon Mountain were engaged in a heated battle, a magnetic voice entered their ears. The foundation martial artists of the Lin family and the 12 generals of the Black Demon Mountain hurriedly stopped and looked in the direction of the voice. What? The genetic warriors of the Lin family and the 12 generals of the Black Fiend Mountain were all stunned. Who are you? A Tier 4 Venerable Level Dark Race member stared at Yi Li and spoke coldly. Chapter 785, The 12 Generals of Black Demon Mountain died. Yi's reading on novel cool. Omicron. There was no change in Yi Li's handsome face. I'm just a passerby, Yi Li said slowly. The genetic warriors of the Lin family and the 12 generals of the Black Demon Mountain were all stunned. They naturally did not believe Yi Li's words. Human, you're very bold. Before a Tier 4 Venerable Level Dark Race member could finish speaking, he sensed something. You're not human. This Tier 4 Venerable Level Dark Race member was extremely shocked. As soon as these words were spoken, the 12 generals of Black Demon Mountain and the genetic warriors of the Lin family were all stunned. This is clearly a human. How can he not be a human? A 7th tier transcender said in shock. You don't have the aura of a human on you, a Tier 4 Venerable Level Dark Race member said coldly. Yi Li smiled and said calmly, I didn't expect you guys to be so discerning. I'm indeed not a human. The genetic warriors of the Lin family and the 12 generals of the Black Fiend Mountain were all stunned as they looked at Yi Li in shock. Wasn't human. However, he looked exactly the same as a human. In the entire Mystic Land, other than, suddenly, the genetic warriors of the Lin family and the 12 generals of the Black Fiend Mountain thought of a possibility. Demon King Yi Li. Everyone in the Mystic Land knew that Demon King Yi Li was not a human, but a demon. Although they had never seen Demon King Yi Li before and did not know if he was a human or a demon, the person in front of them looked like a human but was not. They could not think of anyone else other than Demon King Yi Li. Are you Demon King Yi Li? The head of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan, said to Yi Li in shock. Yi Li smiled faintly and slowly said to Lin Zhanshan, That's right, I am indeed the Demon King, Yi Li. Hiss. Upon hearing this, the genetic warriors of the Lin family and the 12 generals of the Black Demon Mountain could not help but gasp. Demon King Yi Li. That was a legendary existence in the Mystic Land. Get lost. Yi Li looked at the 12 generals of the Black Demon Mountain. When the 12 generals of Black Demon Mountain heard this, they were all infuriated. So what if you're Demon King Yi Li? Everyone says that you're scary, but my Black Demon Mountain doesn't believe it. I want to see how scary Demon King Yi Li is. A Tier 4 Venerable Level Dark Race member spoke coldly to Yi Li. Yi Li was slightly stunned when he heard that. He didn't expect that they didn't cherish the chance that he gave them to live. I've already given you a chance to live, but why didn't you choose to cherish it? Yi Li looked at the 12 generals of the Black Demon Mountain and could not help but sigh. When Black Demon Mountain saw the expression on Yi Li's face, he could not help but be furious. His expression seemed to be telling them that they were already dead. Since that's the case, all of you can die, Yili suddenly said. As soon as he finished speaking, a dragon's cry suddenly sounded. A 5-clawed blood dragon was entrenched above Yili's head, and a sharp sword had appeared in Yili's hand. Swish! A supreme sword light shot out from the immemorial dragon abyss sword. Its speed was as fast as lightning, so fast that it was simply indescribable. Seeing such an attack, the 12 Wars of the Black Demon Mountain began to feel extremely regretful. They only hated themselves for being too arrogant and conceited. Why didn't they listen to Demon King Yili just now? But now, I'm finished. The 12 generals of Black Demon Mountain shouted in unison. Ah! With dozens of screams, the 12 generals of Black Demon Mountain all died. Chapter 786, News of the Ninely Pot Ease reading on Novel Cool. Omicron silence, a deadly silence. The genetic warriors of the Lin family froze like clay sculptures. Are you guys very shocked? Yili looked at the Lin family genetic warriors playfully. When the Lin family heard this, they came back to their senses and looked at Yili in horror. Yes, they were simply shocked to the extreme. Just the name of the Demon King, Yili, was enough to scare them out of their wits, not to mention Yili's sword just now. That sword was the most terrifying sword move they had seen since they were born. Don't ever be shocked, because everything I, Yili, do is enough to shock all of you for 3 days and 3 nights, Yili said slowly. When the Lin family members heard this, they could not help but be even more shocked. Demon King, thank you for your help. The head of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan, was the first to come back to his senses and looked at Yili gratefully. Yili waved his hand and looked at Lin Zhanshan. You should know that there will never be a free lunch in this world. Tell me some news. Some news? Everyone in the Lin family was stunned again. They looked at each other, not understanding what Yili meant. Yili smiled. I'm not interested in waiting for you to think. Everyone from the Lin family was startled. It was as if a bolt of lightning had struck their heads. They had just witnessed how terrifying Yili was. When they heard this, they could not help but think that Yili was going to attack them. In that case, they would have no chance of survival. Demon King, we are from the Lin family of Mystic City, the head of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan, hurriedly said to Yili. Yili shook his head and looked at Lin Zhanshan. Do you think this is considered news? Lin Zhanshan was shocked. How would he know what a message was? For a moment, Lin Zhanshan began to feel distressed. He thought that even if they were to face the 12 generals of the Black Demon Mountain, they were completely confident of defeating them. However, Demon King Yili had appeared out of nowhere. He thought that if they offended Demon King Yili, their Lin family would undoubtedly be wiped out of Mystic City. Lord Demon King, those dark race members just now were all generals of the Black Demon Mountain, Lin Zhanshan said to Yili. When Yili heard this, he started to mumble in his heart. He thought that there wasn't any useful information. Think about it again, Yili said slowly. Lin Zhanshan was about to cry. He realized that even if he used all his strength, he couldn't figure out what news Yili needed. The genetic warriors of the Lin family were the same. Suddenly, Lin Zhanshan's eyes lit up as if he had thought of something. Demon King, there's a supreme spirit treasure in the Black Demon Mountain, but it seems to be incomplete. I heard that it's one of the 10 great divine weapons, the Ninely Pot. When Yili heard this, his face showed a playful smile. One would search high and low only to find it when one least expected to. This system was indeed the system. It was simply strategizing. The Black Demon Mountain had the Ninely Pot. Although it was incomplete, it was better than nothing. The head of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan, looked at Yili in shock. He thought that if the information was still useless this time, he would have no other choice. You can leave now. Yili looked at Lin Zhanshan. Lin Zhanshan was overjoyed. Thank you, Senior Demon King. Just as the Lin family turned around and left, Yili suddenly stopped them. The Lin family was shocked and turned around shakily. Demon King, is there anything else? Lin Zhanshan looked at Yili in shock and asked. Where is the Black Demon Mountain? Yili asked slowly. Chapter 787, The Mountain Master of Black Demon Mountain. Ease reading on Novel Cool. Omicron. The genetic warriors of the Lin family were all stunned when they heard this. They originally thought that Yili was not going to let them leave. They did not expect Yili to say such words. Demon King, Black Demon Mountain is, the head of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan, told Yili the direction of the Black Demon Mountain. Alright, you can leave now, Yili said to the Lin family. When the Lin family heard this, they felt as if they had been pardoned and hurriedly left. Yili nodded slightly and looked at the sun in the sky. Incomplete 9 Lipat. With that, Yili activated his swift steps and disappeared from the scene. Black Demon Mountain. The Black Demon Mountain was also an incomparably powerful dark race tribe in the Mystic Land. When Yili arrived at the foot of the Black Demon Mountain, he leaped up the mountain. As long as he did not want to be discovered by others, naturally, no one would be able to discover him. At this moment, he had arrived at the top of the Black Demon Mountain's main hall. Yili looked at the hall indifferently. More than 10 venerable level dark race members were discussing something. Mountain Master, why don't we attack Mystic City directly and let them see how powerful our Black Demon Mountain is? A Tier 1 venerable level dark race member said to the dark race member on the throne. Yili looked at everything in the hall and wondered if he should give these dark race members a sneak attack. Why aren't the 12 generals back yet? Black Demon Mountain's Mountain Master asked in confusion. Hearing this, the dark race members in the hall were also stunned. Mountain Master, do you think something happened to them? A venerable level dark race member asked. How is this possible? The 12 generals are all Tier 4 venerable level. How can anything happen to them? The dark race members in the hall all nodded. They all felt that nothing would happen to the 12 generals. At this moment, a voice entered the ears of the dark race members. Do you really believe that nothing happened to them? It was a slightly lazy voice. Who is it? The dark race members in the main hall of the Black Demon Mountain were all stunned. They had never expected that a voice would suddenly appear. A man in his 20s appeared in front of them. The man was as handsome as jade, like a war god from the 9 heavens. All the dark race members in the hall were shocked. They didn't even realize when Yili had arrived. Human. The Black Demon Mountain Master stared at Yili. Something's wrong. After saying that, the Black Demon Mountain Master immediately sensed something. The Black Demon Mountain Master was a 6th-tier venerable level member of the Red Leopard tribe. A few seconds later, the Black Demon Mountain Master stared at Yili and said coldly, "You're not human." Yili smiled and said slowly, "That's right, I'm not a human. I'm a demon." Demon? The dark race members in the main hall of Black Demon Mountain were all stunned. Impossible. How can there be demons in the Mystic Land? The Black Demon Mountain Master sneered. Believe it or not, Yili said lightly. The Black Demon Mountain Master glared at Yili. Even if you're a demon, I don't think there's any deep hatred between you and my Black Demon Mountain, right? The Mountain Master of Black Demon Mountain really couldn't understand why Yili came to his Black Demon Mountain. Mountain Master, there is a demon in the Mystic Land. Suddenly, a dark race member said to the Black Demon Mountain Master. Black Demon Mountain Master was taken aback. There was a demon here. Could it be wasn't just the Mountain Master of the Black Demon Mountain? All the dark race members in the hall were stunned because they had all thought of a shocking possibility. This shocking possibility was Demon King Yili. Chapter 788, Incomplete 9 Lipat Ease reading on Novel Cool. Omicron. All the dark race members in the main hall of the Black Demon Mountain looked at Yili in shock. You are Demon King Yili. Actually, I am Demon King Yili. Although the dark races had guessed that Yili was the demon king Yili, they were still extremely shocked when they heard Yili say it himself. Demon King Yili, our Black Demon Mountain has no deep hatred for you. When the Black Demon Mountain Master heard that it was Demon King Yili, he had no choice but to cower. He had heard too much about Demon King Yili's deeds. Just destroying the Four Weapons Hall, a supreme faction in the Mystic Land, was enough to shock everyone. I told you, I'm not here to destroy your Black Demon Mountain, Yili said calmly. All the Dark Race members in the hall were stunned. The Black Demon Mountain Master looked at Yili and asked, then what are you doing here? Yili smiled leisurely. I heard that your Black Demon Mountain has the incomplete Ninely Pot, one of the 10 great divine weapons. So I'm here to take it. What? The expressions of all the Dark Race members of the Black Demon Mountain changed. Black Demon Mountain did have the Ninely Pot, but it was incomplete. They had once searched the entire Mystic Land and did not find any traces of other broken pots. Many factions also knew this news, so they did not come to attack the Black Demon Mountain. Demon King Yili, our Black Demon Mountain does indeed have the incomplete Ninely Pot. However, why do you need it? Black Demon Mountain's Mountain Master asked in puzzlement. It's useful to me, Yili said slowly. All the Dark Race members in the hall looked at Yili in horror. They knew very well how terrifying Demon King Yili was. What if I don't give it to you? The Black Demon Mountain Master stared at Yili. You can try. Yili said slowly without any hesitation. Upon hearing this, the Black Demon Mountain Master could not help but tremble. He gritted his teeth and stared at Yili. He realized that Yili was very young. He really did not know how such a young demon could have such terrifying strength. At the same time, he realized that Yili's eyes were unforgettable. His eyes were as serene as the night and as profound as the ocean. You are Demon King Yili. I respect you. Since you want the incomplete Ninely Pot, I'll give it to you. With that said, Black Demon Mountain Master said, Men, retrieve the incomplete Ninely Pot. Before long, the incomplete Ninely Pot was brought over. Yili looked at the copper pot in front of him. There were strange runes on it. The Ninely Pot looked complete, but its artifact spirit was incomplete. Demon King Yili, this is the incomplete Ninely Pot. Black Demon Mountain Master said to Yili. Yili took the pot and placed it into the system space. Then, he scanned the Dark Race members of the Black Demon Mountain and slowly said, In this world, good people don't die, and neither do bad people. There's only one kind of person who dies, and that's stupid people. Obviously, none of you are stupid people. With that, Yili activated swift steps and disappeared from the hall of Black Demon Mountain. Mountain Master, Demon King Yili is too arrogant. A Lord-level Dark Race member said to the Black Demon Mountain Master. The Dark Race members in the hall were also furious. The Mountain Master of the Black Demon Mountain sighed. What can we do? Demon King Yili is not someone we can provoke. Yili arrived at Mystic City. He thought that the Ninely Pot was incomplete. He did not know when he would be able to find the complete one. Forget it, he should admire this Mystic City first. Mystic City was really huge. At least, Yili had never seen such a big city. Zombie Paradise Grand Celebration, tickets 90% off. Suddenly, the sound of advertisements entered Yili's ears. Chapter 789, Mystic City's Zombie Paradise Ease reading on novel cool. Omicron M Zombie Paradise. There was a playful look on Yili's face. It had been a long time since he had heard the name Zombie Paradise. He had heard it in the Annan base city and the Huangjiang base city. Now that the Apocalypse Legion was still gathering zombies, he wanted to synthesize all the zombies in Zombie Paradise. It would be fun. Yili watched as some genetic warriors bought tickets and walked towards a certain place. He followed them. Not long after, Yili saw the Zombie Paradise. This zombie paradise was many times bigger than the zombie paradise in Annan Bay City and Huangjiang Bay City. After Yili bought the tickets, he walked into zombie paradise. Wait a minute. Suddenly, a voice entered Yili's ears. Yili looked in the direction of the voice and saw a young girl. What is it? Yili asked coldly. I am the guardian of your team, the girl said to Yili. If genetic warriors wanted to enter zombie paradise, they had to be protected. Otherwise, their lives would not be guaranteed. Immediately, more than 10 genetic warriors appeared in front of Yili. They were all from Yili's team. Yili looked at the girl in front of him. This girl was only 17 or 18 years old, but she was a 10th-tier evolved being. She only needed one more step to become a transcender. Let's enter zombie paradise now, the girl said. Then, the group entered zombie paradise. Zombie paradise was divided into several large areas, which were also divided into many small areas according to zombie levels. The zombie paradise in Mystic City even had mutant zombies. When you kill the zombies later, don't stay too far away from me, the girl said to the group of people. The girl's name was Lin Miao, and she was from the Lin family, a super family in Mystic City. Yili and the others were entering the advanced zombies area. Advanced zombies were level 6 to 10 zombies. Roar! Roar! In an instant, several zombies rushed toward them. The flowers in the greenhouse were all very excited, wondering how they were going to kill the disgusting zombies. Unfortunately, they didn't have such a chance. When the zombies were still some distance away from them, they suddenly heard a wind-breaking sound. All 6 zombies fell to the ground, but they weren't dead. What happened? The group of genetic warriors was stunned. Even their guardian, Lin Miao, was stunned. She didn't know what was going on, but she heard a wind-breaking sound, and then those zombies fell to the ground. Yili opened the synthesis grid in his mind and synthesized all 6 zombies. These 6 zombies were all level 6 zombies. Yili synthesized them into 3 level 7 zombies and asked them to lure the other zombies. Seeing that the number of zombies had suddenly decreased and their levels had increased, Lin Miao and the others were stunned again. They felt that they had seen wrongly. How is this possible? What shocked them even more was that the 3 level 7 zombies in front of them didn't choose to continue attacking them, but ran to different places. This was the first time they had heard that zombies didn't attack humans. It would be fine if they were intelligent mutant zombies or higher-leveled zombies, but they were advanced zombies. Roar! Roar! In just 10 seconds, the 3 level 7 zombies brought dozens of zombies over. Chapter 790, Attract Zombies. Madly Ease reading on novel Cool. Omicron M. Lin Miao and the others were all very shocked. They really could not understand what was going on. What exactly is going on? A Tier 1 evolved being asked in astonishment. Yili looked at the dozens of zombies in front of him and was bored. It was just dozens of zombies. Swish! 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 The wind-breaking sound appeared again. The dozens of zombies fell to the ground again. This, the group was stunned again. Yili opened the synthesis grid in his mind and synthesized dozens of zombies again. Then, he asked them to attract other zombies. Lin Miao and the others saw the most impossible thing in history. Their eyes were wide open, and their faces were as shocked as they could be. Don't be surprised. I did it all. Yili looked at Lin Miao and the rest and said calmly. As soon as he said this, everyone looked at Yili. You did it? Lin Miao looked at Yili in shock. Yili nodded and did not say anything. As a Tier 1 transcender, Lin Miao's mental fortitude was naturally much stronger than these evolved beings. At this moment, the evolved beings were already frozen like clay sculptures. How did you reduce the number of zombies and raise their levels? Lin Miao's fair face was filled with confusion. It's a secret, Yili said slowly. Secret? Lin Miao looked at Yili. She was one of the geniuses in Mystic City, but she suddenly had a feeling that compared to Yi Li, it was like the difference between heaven and earth, although this was just her feeling. Roar! Roar! Suddenly, thousands of zombies arrived. Oh my god! So many zombies! The evolved beings came back to their senses. They took a few steps back and exclaimed in shock. Lin Miao glanced at the zombie, then turned to look at Yi Li. What she didn't expect was that Yi Li's face didn't change at all, as if he didn't see anything at all. Let's get out of here! Lin Miao hurriedly shouted. The evolved beings hurriedly nodded and ran out of the advanced zombies area. After Lin Miao took a few steps, she realized that someone was missing. When she turned around, she saw that Yi Li was still standing there motionlessly. Come on, run! Lin Miao shouted at Yi Li. Yi Li revealed his side profile and looked at Lin Miao indifferently. You guys can leave. Lin Miao was shocked. She obviously didn't expect Yi Li to say such a thing. You guys leave first. Lin Miao said to the evolved beings, and they immediately ran out. What's wrong with you? Do you want to face so many zombies? Lin Miao ran to Yi Li's side and said urgently. Are you very afraid? Yi Li looked at Lin Miao leisurely. Lin Miao was shocked. She really didn't know what Yi Li meant. Shouldn't she be afraid of so many zombies? Don't be afraid. These zombies can't hurt you, Yi Li said slowly. Lin Miao suddenly felt that Yi Li was a lunatic, an out-and-out lunatic. Roar! Roar! At this moment, the zombie had already arrived in front of Yi Li, swish. Before Lin Miao could react, she looked at Yi Li and found that there was only an afterimage left on the spot. Then, she looked at the zombie crowd and saw a figure moving quickly among the zombies. Countless zombies began to fall to the ground. Chapter 791 I Want all the zombies in Zombie Paradise ease reading on novel cool. Omicron M, well, Lin Miao's eyes widened for the biggest time in history. She could not believe the scene in front of her. How did you do that? Lin Miao didn't know. She really didn't know. She only knew that this must be the most shocked she had ever been. In an instant, thousands of zombies fell to the ground. Was this the charm of Demon King Yi Li? Yi Li opened the synthesis grid in his mind and conducted batch synthesis on these zombies. The expression on Lin Miao's face seemed to have frozen, and she was unable to regain her senses for a long time. When Yi Li was synthesizing zombies, he would always see such an expression. He was already used to it. How did you do it? Lin Miao looked at Yi Li in shock. She was a 10th-tier evolved being and did not understand how Yi Li did it. Do you think I will tell you? Yi Li looked at Lin Miao playfully. Lin Miao was shocked. All the zombies in the entire area were gone. This was simply unbelievable. Who the hell are you? Suddenly, Lin Miao thought that Yi Li must not be an ordinary genetic warrior. He could actually reduce the number of zombies and increase the level of the zombies. Take me to the next zombie area. Yi Li thought that since Lin Miao didn't want to leave, he would let her lead the way. You're not a genetic warrior from Mystic City. Lin Miao glared at Yi Li. Yi Li smiled and thought that Lin Miao was not too stupid. She even knew about this. It was really worth celebrating. I'll say it again. Bring me to the next area. Don't make me say it a third time. Yi Li looked at Lin Miao indifferently. Lin Miao's expression changed when she heard this. She knew very well that she was definitely not Yi Li's match, so she could only find help when she went out. In the blink of an eye, Lin Miao jumped and disappeared. Yi Li secretly smiled. He thought that this girl's desire to live was very strong. Alright, he would let her escape. Then, he prepared to go to another area. When he came out, Yi Li was surrounded by a group of genetic warriors. It's him. Lin Miao pointed at Yi Li and said. Take him down, a Tier 1 transcender shouted. Immediately, the genetic warriors surrounding Yili prepared to attack him. Ah! The dozen or so genetic warriors suddenly screamed and fell to the ground. A shocking bloody hole appeared on their thighs. This. When Lin Miao saw this, she couldn't help but be shocked. Yili looked at Lin Miao indifferently and said slowly, "Tell the person in charge of Zombie Paradise that I want the zombies in Zombie Paradise." There were still countless genetic warriors from Mystic City outside. When they saw the scene just now, they froze as if they had been petrified. Now that they heard Yili's words, they were even more shocked, and their souls almost left their bodies. He wanted all the zombies in Zombie Paradise. Not to mention the purpose he wanted the zombies for. How dare he uttered such words, although they acknowledged that the person before them was very strong. But the Zombie Paradise in Mystic City was opened by the Lin family. The Lin family was a super family in Mystic City. What are you trying to do?" Lin Miao's voice trembled. She thought about the scene just now and couldn't help but think of a shocking possibility. Could it be that this person wanted to take all the zombies in Zombie Paradise? Do you really think you have the right to refuse? Yili looked at Yili playfully. Lin Miao gritted her teeth and glared at Yili. "All right. Just you wait." Chapter 792, He is Demon King. Yili is reading on Novel Cool. Omicron. With that, Lin Miao left. Who is this? Isn't this publicly challenging the Lin family? That's right. I'm afraid this person won't even know how he dies. Didn't you see this person's strength just now? I didn't even see how he attacked. I think this person must be a powerful genetic warrior. So what? Does he know that he's going to face the Lin family? The genetic warriors outside the Zombie Paradise all looked at Yili with pity. Yili thought that he would wait for a while. Not long after, a group of genetic warriors arrived aggressively like ferocious tigers descending the mountain. Yili had seen the two genetic warriors in the lead, Lin Yang and the fifth elder, Lin He. Who dares to challenge our Lin family? Lin Yang shouted angrily at the crowd. Everyone hurriedly made way, afraid of offending the Lin family's genetic warriors. "Second uncle, it's him." Lin Miao pointed at Yili and said. Lin Yang and the head of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan, were brothers, but there was a 30-year age difference between them. "I want to see who has the guts to openly challenge my Lin family in Mystic City." With that, Lin Yang looked in the direction Lin Miao was pointing. And then, he was scared out of his wits. This, Lin Yang and fifth elder Lin He's pupils constricted as if they had seen the most terrifying thing in the world. "Second uncle, fifth uncle, what's wrong?" Lin Miao was shocked. She really could not understand why they looked so afraid. "Master Demon King." Lin Yang called Yili. "What?" All the genetic warriors present were shocked to the extreme. "Master Demon King." In the entire Mystic Land, other than Demon King Yili, who else was Master Demon King? Who else could it be other than Demon King Yili? Demon King Yili, this person is Demon King Yili. Did Master Demon King hear what I said just now? I don't think so. If he had heard it, we would have been finished. The genetic warriors were as afraid as they could be. "Master Demon King, why are you in Mystic City?" The fifth elder of the Lin family said respectfully to Yili. "I'm just here to play. I want all the zombies in your Zombie Paradise. You have no objections, right?" Yili looked at Lin He. How could Lin He dare to have any objections? He shook his head like a rattle drum. "No objections, no objections." Lin He said quickly. As for Lin Miao, her eyes were as wide as they had ever been. Her mouth was so wide open that it could fit an extra-large bowl. She wouldn't have thought of it even if she used all her strength. This person was actually Demon King Yili. "Then call out everyone in Zombie Paradise," Yili said calmly to Lin He. How could Lin He dare to refuse? He hurriedly got someone to call out the people from the various regions. Hey, what are you doing? I bought a ticket. Don't think that the Lin family is so great. What? You said the Lin family is just so great. Alright, you guys are great. Demon King Yili. It's alright then. When the people from the various regions of Zombie Paradise heard that Demon King Yili had arrived, they were all so frightened that they took a few steps back. Immediately, genetic warriors from various regions of Zombie Paradise came out one after another. They all knew that Demon King Yili had arrived, but they didn't know who Demon King Yili was. Among the crowd, there was a person who stood out like a crane in a flock of chickens. He was tall and upright, but his slightly thin back was like a god, making people unable to look up to him. The genetic warriors who came out of Zombie Paradise were certain that this person was none other than the Demon King Yili. Chapter 793, Entering Zombie Paradise Again. Ease reading on Novel Cool. Omicron M, Master Demon King, the genetic warriors in Zombie Paradise have all retreated. The fifth elder of the Lin family, Lin He, looked at Yili respectfully. Yili nodded and said leisurely, I want all the zombies in Zombie Paradise. You have no objections, right? Of course not, Lin He said quickly. Then, Yili slowly walked into Zombie Paradise. All the genetic warriors were left frozen on the spot in shock. Fifth uncle, should we tell Grandpa? Lin Miao looked at Lin He in shock. Fifth elder Lin He was stunned. The last time he and Lin Yang returned from the Heavenly Fragrance Inn, they were about to tell the family head, but after thinking about it, they were afraid of being scolded, so they didn't say anything. I think it's better to tell Big Brother, Lin Yang said. As soon as they finished speaking, the few of them headed towards the Lin family. Yili arrived at an advanced zombies area in Zombie Paradise. He synthesized the zombies and got them to lure other zombies over. Then, he began to synthesize crazily. The Lin family. After those people arrived at the Lin family's hall, Lin Yang was the first to speak. Big Brother, bad news. The head of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan, was drinking tea. When he heard Lin Yang's panicked words, his teacup almost slipped from his hand. What's the matter? Why are you so shocked? Lin Zhanshan's face darkened. Brother, Demon King Yili is in Mystic City. Lin Yang said with a worried look. What? The head of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan, was shocked and looked at Lin Yang in shock. Are you serious? It's true, Big Brother. Lin Yang almost cried. He had seen how terrifying Demon King Yili was. Although Yili only wanted the zombies in Zombie Paradise, who knew if he would attack his Lin family? Lin Zhanshan's old face looked also a little shocked. He thought about how Demon King Yili had saved them that day and even went to the Black Demon Mountain. How could he have returned so quickly? Lin Yang, tell me what happened. Lin Zhanshan looked at Lin Yang and said. Big Brother, this is how it all happened. Lin Yang hurriedly told Lin Zhanshan everything that had happened. Lin Zhanshan heaved a sigh of relief when he heard this. The weight in his heart was finally lifted. Don't worry. Demon King Yili is not a human, but a demon. He has the ability to control zombies, Lin Zhanshan said. Lin Yang swallowed his saliva and hesitated. Is there anything else? Lin Zhanshan noticed Lin Yang's expression and stared at him. Lin Yang could only tell Lin Zhanshan what had happened at the Heavenly Fragrance in that day. What? Slap. Lin Zhanshan was furious. He stood up angrily from his seat and slapped Lin Yang's face heavily. Lin Yang was sent spinning a few times on the spot. Brother, why did you hit me? Lin Yang covered his face, clearly stunned. Why did I hit you? You provoked Demon King Yili. Why do you think I hit you? Lin Zhanshan shouted angrily. With that, Lin Zhanshan told them what had happened not long ago. Demon King Yili killed the 12 generals of the Black Demon Mountain with one strike. Fifth elder Lin He, Lin Miao, and Lin Yang widened their eyes as if they had heard the most unbelievable thing in history. That's right. If not for Demon King Yi Li, our Lin family would definitely have suffered heavy casualties this time, Lin Zhanshan said. Lin Yang swallowed his saliva again and carefully looked at Lin Zhanshan. Big brother, what do you think we should do now? Chapter 794, Young Master of the Wang Family, Wang Yun is reading on novel Cool. Omicron M, the head of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan, looked at Lin Yang with a dark expression. What should we do? Lead the way. Lin Yang trembled when he heard that. Yes, big brother. Lin Zhanshan called for the elders of the Lin family and the group headed towards Zombie Paradise. Not long after, they arrived outside Zombie Paradise. When the genetic warriors saw that the Lin family's head and elders had all arrived, they immediately retreated 3 steps in fear. They were dumbfounded as they watched the scene in front of them. What's going on? Could it be that the Lin family wants to attack Demon King Yi Li? That can't be. That's Demon King Yi Li. Would the Lin family dare? I agree. The Lin family doesn't dare to attack Demon King Yi Li at all. You have to know that Demon King Yi Li is the most terrifying existence in the Mystic Land. The genetic warriors outside the zombie paradise discussed animatedly. They were all guessing the purpose of the Lin family's head and elders' trip. Seconds ticked by. Yi Li heaved a sigh of relief. He had finally synthesized all the zombies in zombie paradise. However, he had only synthesized a tier 3 Lord-level zombie. It was meaningless. Then, Yi Li walked out of zombie paradise. As soon as he came out, countless eyes looked at him in unison. Yi Li was naturally not surprised at all. He had seen too many such scenes. The genetic warriors looked at Yi Li and then at the Lin family. They thought that a huge battle was probably coming. Although they felt that the Lin family did not dare to attack Demon King Yi Li, they had all come with the mentality of fighting a war. However, to the genetic warriors' surprise, the Lin family's head, Lin Zhanshan, said such a thing. Master Demon King. Lin Zhanshan called out to Demon King Yi Li and quickly walked in front of him. He looked at Yi Li respectfully. Master Demon King, I didn't expect you to come to Mystic City. Yi Li nodded and didn't say anything. Lin Zhanshan broke out in a cold sweat when he saw that Yi Li did not speak. Master Demon King, is there something my people? Before Lin Zhanshan could finish, Yi Li interrupted him. You seem to have a lot to say. Yi Li looked at Lin Zhanshan. When Lin Zhanshan heard this, it was as if a bolt of lightning had struck his head. He was so frightened that he was scared out of wits. What's going on? Suddenly, an unruly voice entered everyone's ears. Everyone looked in the direction of the voice and saw a man walking over slowly. It's the Wang family's young master, Wang Yun, a genetic warrior whispered. The Wang family was the most powerful family among the 5 great families in Mystic City. As for Wang Yun, he was a supreme genius in Mystic City. With his background and talent, he was the Prince Charming in the hearts of countless girls in Mystic City. Wang Yun glanced indifferently at the genetic warriors in front of him. There was a sense of accomplishment on his slightly handsome face, but when he saw the Lin family, he could not help but be stunned. This was because he would never have thought that the Lin family's head and elders would appear here. However, his Wang family was not afraid of the Lin family at all. But when he looked at Yi Li, he froze. It's him. Wang Yun's face suddenly showed a playful smile. He thought to himself, there's a path to heaven, but you don't take it, there is no gate to hell, but you force your way in. Wang Yun recalled that day at the Heavenly Fragrance Inn. Yi Li was so arrogant, but now that he was in Mystic City. Chapter 795, Death of Wang Yun is reading on novel Cool. Omicron M. Under everyone's stunned gazes, Wang Yun quickly walked to Yi Li's side. He stared at Yi Li and sneered. Brat, I didn't expect you to actually dare to come to Mystic City. What? All the genetic warriors were stunned. They would never have thought that Wang Yun would dare to say such a thing to Demon King Yi Li. Could it be that Wang Yun did not know that the person in front of him was the strongest person in the Mystic Land, Demon King Yi Li? Brother, should we remind Wang Yun? Lin Yang whispered to Lin Zhanshan. However, Lin Zhanshan shook his head. There's no need. Isn't the Wang family the strongest family in Mystic City? Let them offend someone they shouldn't offend. The genetic warriors present chose to say nothing because Wang Yun had always been a tyrant in Mystic City. Now that he had kicked an iron plate, they naturally chose to watch the show. Yi Li looked at Wang Yun indifferently and shook his head. Why don't you cherish your life? What do you mean? Wang Yun was stunned. He naturally did not understand what Yi Li meant. Yi Li smiled. You probably don't know that you were already dead when you said those words just now. Ha ha ha. When Wang Yun heard this, he could not help but laugh at the sky. He felt that he had heard the funniest joke in the world. However, no one present could laugh out loud because they all knew that Wang Yun was already a dead person. It was because he had offended Demon King Yi Li. Brat, don't you think your joke is too funny? After laughing dozens of times, Wang Yun looked at Yi Li with extreme disdain. Let me tell you, this is Mystic City, and my Wang family is the strongest family in Mystic City. Do you think we are still in the Heavenly Fragrance Inn? Wang Yun then shouted at Yi Li. Yi Li's handsome face was as calm as water. He looked at Wang Yun indifferently and then sighed softly. Do you have any last words? As the saying went, when a person was about to die, his words were kind. Yi Li wanted to hear if Wang Yun could say something nice. However, what Yi Li didn't expect was that not only did Wang Yun not say anything nice, but he also became angry. Brat, why are you still so arrogant? In a place like Mystic City, I, Wang Yun, can make you die without a burial place with a word. Wang Yun shouted at Yi Li because he really couldn't imagine how Yi Li could still be so calm. Everyone's eyes widened as they shook their heads and sighed. As the saying went, heaven may forgive those who make mistakes unwittingly, but those who deliberately create their own misfortune cannot be saved. Just as Wang Yun finished speaking, a wind-breaking sound was heard. What? Everyone couldn't help but cry out in surprise because there was already a shocking bloody hole on Wang Yun's forehead. Wang Yun also fell straight to the ground without any signs of life. Although they all knew that Wang Yun was dead, they never thought that he would die so easily. Is Wang Yun from the Wang family? Yi Li looked at Lin Zhanshan. Yes, Master Demon King. The head of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan, hurriedly replied. Lin Zhanshan was secretly afraid. He thought that it was a good thing that the Lin family did not offend Yi Li too much. Otherwise, the Lin family would have been reduced to ashes in an instant. Then tell the Lin family that I, Yi Li, killed Wang Yun. Let's see what they are going to do, Yi Li said slowly. Chapter 796, Go tell the Wang family that I killed Wang Yi's reading on novel Cool. Yun. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone from the Lin family could not help but be stunned. The reason why they were stunned wasn't because they felt that Yi Li couldn't destroy the Lin family, but because of the domineeringness in Yi Li's words. It was simply too domineering. This was the most domineering person they had seen since they were born. He was just as domineering as an ancient demon god. Yes. Master Demon King. Lin Zhanshan quickly responded. Then, Lin Zhanshan immediately asked Lin Yang to report to the Wang family. The genetic warriors present looked at each other. They had only heard of Demon King Yi Li's reputation and had never seen him before. Now that they saw it, they thought that Demon King Yi Li was indeed Demon King Yi Li. He was really too terrifying. They had a feeling that Demon King Yi Li was the most terrifying person in the world. Wang family. The head of the Wang family, Wang Hu, was discussing something with the elders. Suddenly, a disciple of the Wang family walked in. Family head, someone from the Lin family has come. They said that they have something important to see you about. Something important? Wang Hu smiled coldly. What important matters could the Lin family have? However, they were both ones of the 5 great families in Mystic City, so it was not appropriate to disrespect the Lin family. Let the Lin family in. The head of the Wang family, Wang Hu, waved his hand. Not long after, Lin Yang walked in. Mr. Wang. Lin Yang called out to Wang Hu. Wang Hu sneered. Lin Yang, what important matters does your Lin family have to discuss? The elders in the hall also felt extremely disdainful. Their Wang family was the #1 family in Mystic City. They looked down on the Lin family. Mr. Wang, I hope you can accept my condolences, Lin Yang said. Your condolences? Wang Hu was stunned. The elders in the Wang family's main hall were also stunned. Clearly, they did not understand what Lin Yang meant. Master Wang, not long ago, young Master Wang was killed by Demon King Yili because he offended him. What? As soon as these words were spoken, everyone from the Wang family could not help but gasp. What did you say? Wang Hu's eyes turned red. Wang Yun was his most beloved grandson. Young Master Wang was killed by Demon King Yili, Lin Yang continued. Silence, a deadly silence. Seconds later, the head of the Wang family gritted his teeth and clenched his fists tightly. He didn't feel any pain even when his nails sank into his skin. Demon King Yili. Family head, Demon King Yili is too much. An elder of the Wang family roared. Family head, our Wang family must avenge Xiao Yun. Everyone says that Demon King Yili is the strongest person in the Mystic Land. I, Wang heir, don't believe it. Another elder shouted angrily. At this moment, Wang Hu's eyes could already spit fire. He gritted his teeth and said coldly, Demon King Yili, it's fine if you bullied others, but you actually bullied our Wang family. I want to report to Master and ask him to uphold justice for me. Lin Yang was stunned. Wang Hu was going to report this to his master. Wasn't his master dead? Could it be that he wasn't? Mr. Wang, I'm only here to report. If there's nothing else, I'll leave. With that, Lin Yang hurriedly walked out of the Wang family. He felt that everyone in the Wang family was in a fit of anger. If he didn't leave now, he probably wouldn't be able to leave. When Lin Yang arrived at Zombie Paradise, he quickly told Yili the news. What? Wang Hu's master isn't dead? Lin Zhanshan was also stunned. Master Demon King, Wang Hu's master is called Lin Jiutong. He was once the strongest person in the Mystic Land. Even the 4 hall masters of the 4 weapons hall were not Lin Jiutong's match, Lin Zhanshan hurriedly said to Yili. Chapter 797, Battle in Mystic City Ease reading on Novel Cool. Omicron M. Lin Jiutong. Yili had never heard of Lin Jiutong before. Master Demon King, it said that Lin Jiutong is already dead, but according to Wang Hu, Lin Jiutong is not dead. Lin Jiutong was once an 8th-tier chosen one. Now, he is very likely to be a 9th-tier chosen one. At the same time, he has a title in the Mystic Land. Lin Zhanshan continued. Yili smiled and thought that there was finally some fun in his peaceful life. What title? Yili looked at Lin Zhanshan indifferently. Lin Zhanshan enunciated each word clearly and slowly, shake the 3 mountains, carry the 5 mountains, drive the waves and scare ghosts. This title, Yili couldn't help but fall silent because he felt that this title was a little too awesome. I won't go to the Wang family for the time being. Let that Lin Jiutong come to me, Yili said slowly. He wouldn't allow such an awesome title to exist in the Mystic Land. Shake the 3 mountains, carry the 5 mountains, drive the waves and scare ghosts. Then he would let Lin Zhanshan see what Demon King Yili had had. Yili stayed in the Lin family for 3 days. 3 days later, the Wang family sent someone to the Lin family to deliver a letter to Yi Li. They challenged him to a battle at Mystic Lake on February 2nd. Mystic Lake? Mystic Lake was a huge lake outside Mystic City. There were still a few days before February 2nd. Yi Li was wondering why they wanted to fight him on February 2nd. Wouldn't it be better to start fighting now? At the same time, on February 2nd, the news of the battle at the Mystic Lake spread throughout the entire Mystic Land. The entire Mystic Land instantly exploded. Demon King Yi Li vs Lin Jiutong. The current number 1 on the Mystic Land was fighting the former number 1. Needless to say, this battle must be the most exciting battle in history. For a moment, the experts from all over the Mystic Land began to rush to the Mystic City crazily. Yi Li sat on the mountain peak and looked into the distance. He was now a 9th-tier chosen one. Lin Jiutong was also a 9th-tier chosen one. He wanted to see what was so terrifying about Lin Jiutong. February 2nd. At this moment, countless genetic warriors had gathered in the Mystic Lake. In the pavilion at the center of the lake, there was an old man sitting quietly. The old man was dressed in black. There was no expression on his face, but he gave off an extremely dangerous feeling. The old man was none other than the former strongest expert in the Mystic Land, Lin Jiutong. Many people from the Demon King Palace had come as well. Naturally, they believed in Yi Li. In their opinion, no one in this world could defeat Yi Li. Suddenly, Lin Jiutong opened his eyes. A sharp light shot out from his eyes, startling countless fish in the lake. Demon King Yi Li, where are you? Lin Jiutong said word by word. Lin Jiutong spoke very slowly. There was no emotion in his voice, but it gave off an extremely terrifying feeling. The genetic warriors on both sides of the lake looked around, wanting to see where Demon King Yi Li was. Humph. Demon King Yi Li, today is the day you die. The head of the Wang family, Wang Hu, said coldly. Demon King Yi Li had killed his most beloved grandson. He and Yi Li had a feud. Everyone from the Wang family sneered when they heard this. They knew how terrifying Lin Jiutong was. Demon King Yi Li definitely had no chance of winning against Lin Jiutong. Crack! Crack! Suddenly, a loud sound came from the sky. A person appeared out of thin air. This person was dressed in casual clothes, and his hair fluttered without any wind. Chapter 798, The Battle Begins. Ease reading on Novel Cool. Omicron M. Demon King Yi Li is here. Someone let out a shocking roar. Suddenly, the genetic warriors on both sides of the lake looked into the air. Then they were frightened. Demon King Yi Li. Lin Jiutong's eyes were as sharp as an eagle's as he stared at Yi Li. You are Demon King Yi Li? There was no change in Yi Li's handsome face as he looked at Lin Jiutong indifferently. Yes, I am Demon King Yi Li. Lin Jiutong smiled coldly. Then, he hooked his finger at Yi Li and said, Since you are the Demon King Yi Li, come down and die. Silence, dead silence. The genetic warriors on both sides of the lake held their breaths. Their eyes were wide open as if a shocking battle was about to happen. This earth-shattering battle was undoubtedly a showdown where both sides were evenly matched. Yi Li was still in midair. He looked at Lin Jiutong in the pavilion playfully. Do you really trust your own eyes? Yi Li spoke slowly. What do you mean? Lin Jiutong looked at Yi Li coldly. Yi Li smiled. Don't ever believe your own eyes, because your eyes can deceive you sometimes. Lin Jiutong was confused by Yi Li's words. Demon King Yi Li, one asked you to come down and die. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Or are you afraid? Lin Jiutong sneered. He was sure that Yi Li did not dare to fight him. You want me, Yi Li, to die? You have to see if you have the ability to do so. Let me tell you, in front of me, a dragon has to coil up, and a tiger has to lie down. Yi Li said calmly. The genetic warriors on both sides of the lake looked at each other. They had thought that the upcoming battle would be an earth-shattering battle, but they did not expect the conversation between the two to be so sharp. Demon King Yili, do you want to know what will happen to you next? Lin Jiotong looked very displeased. He, Lin Jiotong, had dominated the mystic land for decades, but he had never seen someone as crazy as Yili. Yili smiled and said to Lin Jiotong, "One advise you to think about what will happen to you first." What did you just say? When Lin Jiotong heard this, he stared at Yili and said word by word, becoming furious. Old fool, is there something wrong with your ears? Yili started to play around. What? When the genetic warriors on both sides of the lake heard Yili's words, they were all shocked to the extreme. Old fool. Lin Jiotong was actually called an old fool. Demon King Yili, you've gone too far. The head of the Wang family, Wang Hu, gritted his teeth and said firmly. His teeth were almost broken. Family head, there's no need to be angry. This Demon King Yili has no way out today. An elder of the Wang family said to Wang Hu. When Lin Jiotong heard Yili calling him an old fool, his face turned green with anger. Clang! Suddenly, a cold light shot out from the lake, causing the surface of the lake to sparkle. A long sword appeared in Lin Jiotong's hand. This sword was completely red, and the killing intent on it was obvious. It was enough to make one's guts tremble. Is this the king-slaying sword? A genetic warrior said in shock. King-slaying sword. Lin Jiotong had once killed countless powerhouses in the mystic land with the king-slaying sword. Chapter 799, this sword was called the Ancient Dragon Abyss Sword. Ease reading on Novel Cool. Omicron M. Lin Jiotong held the king-slaying sword in his hand and stared at Yili. Demon King Yili, this sword is called the king-slaying sword. I once used this sword to kill 108 super experts and 532 intermediate experts. As Lin Jiotong spoke, his old face began to look extremely smug. The genetic warriors on both sides of the lake looked at the king-slaying sword in Lin Jiotong's hand in shock. To Lin Jiotong's surprise, Yili smiled faintly. Demon King Yili, why can you still smile? Lin Jiotong gritted his teeth and stared at Yili. He wondered if Demon King Yili still didn't know what the current situation was. Why can't I smile? In my eyes, the king-slaying sword in your hand is just a pair of scrap metal, Yili said calmly. As soon as these words were spoken, not only Lin Jiotong, but even the genetic warriors on both sides of the mystic lake were shocked to the extreme. The king-slaying sword was a piece of scrap metal. The genetic warriors on both sides of the lake would never have thought that Yili would say such a thing. Demon King Yili, you actually dare to say that my king-slaying sword is scrap metal. Lin Jiotong was so angry that he was about to explode. This was the most furious he had ever been. Why? You don't believe me? Yili looked at Lin Jiotong. When Lin Jiotong heard this, he suddenly felt that he had really lost his composure. After calming himself down, he said to Yili in a low voice, Demon King Yili, of course I don't believe it. On the mystic land, the king-slaying sword is a supreme spiritual treasure. After saying that, Lin Jiotong looked proud again. Yili smiled faintly. There was no change in his handsome face. He slowly said to Lin Jiotong, I also have a sword to show you. Everyone, please watch. As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying dragon roar sounded. Everyone took a closer look and realized that there was a 5-clawed blood dragon above Yili's head. It was really terrifying. A shockingly sharp sword appeared in Yili's hand. This sword was completely red and was 3 feet and 3 inches long. All kinds of treasure auras appeared on the sword. Hiss! Looking at the sharp sword in Yili's hand, the genetic warriors on both sides of the lake were in an uproar. What kind of sword is this? It's too terrifying. Just looking at it makes me feel like I'm dead. Me too. This sword is the most terrifying I've ever seen. There's absolutely no other. The genetic warriors' bodies even trembled. They were as shocked as they could be. Even the Lin family and the Wang family people were the same. Well, Lin Jiudong was stunned. He could swear that this was the first time he had been so shocked since he was born. Demon King Yili, what sword is that in your hand? Lin Jiudong stared at Yili and shouted. Yili smiled calmly and raised the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand. He slowly said word by word. This sword is called the ancient dragon abyss sword. It's also the sword that will kill you. When the genetic warriors on both sides of the lake heard Yili's words, they could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. They felt that Yili was the most domineering person in the world. How could a person be so domineering? The genetic warriors couldn't understand. They really couldn't. Ha ha ha. Suddenly, Lin Jiudong burst out laughing again. Chapter 800, A Horrible Battle. Ease reading on Novel Cool. Omicron M. Lin Jiudong's laughter shook the heavens. After laughing, Lin Jiudong looked at Yili and sneered. Demon King Yili, do you really think you can kill me? Yili smiled calmly. You can try. The smile on Lin Jiudong's face froze. Demon King Yili, one want you to die without a burial place. Lin Jiudong shouted. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Jiudong suddenly slashed at Yili with the king's slaying sword. Swish! An extremely terrifying slash headed towards Yili. The genetic warriors on both sides of the lake opened their eyes wide. They knew that this slash was the most terrifying slash they had ever seen in their lives. Yili, who was in midair, shook his head, his face as calm as water. Just as the terrifying slash was about to hit Yili, Yili raised the ancient dragon abyss sword and casually swung it. It looked like a casual strike, but it was actually terrifying to the point of being shocking. Suddenly, a supreme sword light flew out from the ancient dragon abyss sword. The supreme sword light and the terrifying slash collided heavily. In an instant, everyone felt as if the sky and earth had collapsed. Boom! Sword chi swept across 30,000 kilometers, and sword light swept across 19 prefectures. Some of the weaker genetic warriors on both sides of the lake were knocked to the ground. Their faces were filled with shock. Clearly, they were extremely frightened. Suddenly, the terrifying slash was completely destroyed by the supreme sword light, which continued to fly towards Lin Jiudong. How is it possible? When Lin Jiudong saw this, he couldn't help but scream as if he had seen something that would never happen. He didn't expect Yili to be so strong. Sword flattening technique. Just as the supreme sword beam was not far from Lin Jiudong raised the ancient dragon abyss sword and slashed out. Countless sword rays flew towards the supreme sword ray. Boom! With another earth-shattering bang, all the sword lights in the air had already disappeared. The genetic warriors on both sides of the mystic lake were already shocked to the extreme. Their eyes were wide open, and their mouths were so wide that they could fit an extra-large bowl. How can Demon King Yili be so strong? The head of the Wang family, Wang Hu, shouted coldly and stared fixedly at the figure in midair. But everyone from the Lin family was extremely happy. They were glad that they were on Yili's side. If they were like the Wang family, wouldn't Yili cause trouble for the Lin family after he defeated Lin Jiudong? Demon King Yili, you're very strong. You're really very strong. Lin Jiudong stared at Yili and said. Yili smiled and said indifferently, actually, I'm not very strong, but I'm strong enough to kill you. Hearing this, Lin Jiudong's face darkened. Demon King Yili, aren't you speaking these words too early? Lin Jiudong said coldly. Yili looked at Lin Jiudong and couldn't help but sneer. He really didn't know where Lin Jiudong got his confidence from. How could Lin Jiudong know what kind of person he, the Demon King Yili, was? What amused Yili the most was that Lin Jiudong still dared to say those stupid words to him. He simply didn't know his place. Lin Jiutong, come here and let me kill you. As soon as he finished speaking, Yili hooked his finger at Lin Jiutong. Seeing this, Lin Jiutong could not help but be extremely angry. He roared at Yili, Demon King Yili, today. Today is the day. Chapter 801, A Sword Condensed from Spirit Energy. Lise reading Omicron N. Oxville. Omicron M. With that, Lin Jiutong flew towards Yili at an extremely fast speed. In an instant, Lin Jiutong arrived in front of Yili, swish. Lin Jiutong held the king-slaying sword and slashed at Yili. Unfortunately, how could Lin Jiutong hit Yili? Was there a need to explain Yili's speed? Clang! After dodging Lin Jiutong's sword, Yili quickly slashed out. Lin Jiu used the king-slaying sword to block, producing the sound of weapons colliding. It made the genetic warriors on both sides of the Mystic Lake's ears ring. I've said it before. Your king-slaying sword is just a pile of scrap metal, Yili said calmly. As soon as he finished speaking, the king-slaying sword turned to dust. What? When the genetic warriors on both sides of the Mystic Lake saw this scene, they could not help but gasp. They had simply seen the most terrifying scene in the world. The king-slaying sword that shook the entire Mystic Land was broken just like that. They couldn't believe it. They really couldn't believe it. But so what even if he didn't believe it? The truth was right in front of him. At this moment, Lin Jiutong was petrified on the spot. He looked at the sword hilt in his hand in a daze, but the sword body was nowhere to be seen. The king-slaying sword is broken. Lin Jiutong's mouth was slightly agape. It was obvious that he could not believe what he was seeing. Demon King Yili, my king-slaying sword is broken. All of a sudden, Lin Jiutong's eyes were filled with fury. He retreated hundreds of meters and shouted, I, Lin Jiutong, am the master of the sword Dao. Sword, come. A long sword condensed from spirit energy appeared in Lin Jiutong's hand. Demon King Yili, one used 10 years of my lifespan to condense this sword for no other reason than to kill you on the Mystic Lake. Lin Jiutong said coldly to Yili. His old face was extremely cold. However, Yili smiled calmly. His face was still as calm as water. Lin Jiutong, I don't care how much of your lifespan has been consumed. In front of me, the Demon King Yili, you will only end up being suppressed. Lin Jiutong was really too angry. He didn't expect Yili to be so calm even though he had used 10 years of his lifespan to condense this sword. Demon King Yili, don't tell me you still think you can live. Lin Jiutong shouted at Yili. The genetic warriors on both sides of the Mystic Lake were terrified. They looked at the sword condensed from spiritual chi in Lin Jiutong's hand, simply terrified out of their wits. Come and die. Yili looked at Lin Jiutong playfully and hooked his finger at him again. Oh! You're courting death. Lin Jiutong shouted and stepped on the air, towards Yili. Clang, clang, clang. Although the sword in Lin Jiutong's hand was formed from spirit energy, the sound of weapons colliding could still be heard when it came into contact with the ancient dragon abyss sword. The only difference was that the sword wouldn't turn into dust. In midair, there were many ghostly shadows and countless sword shadows flickered. The genetic martial artists on both sides of the Mystic Lake swallowed their saliva. They looked at each other. Too terrifying, simply too terrifying. After dozens of moves, Yili and Lin Jiutong separated and were 100 meters apart. Demon King Yili, you will definitely die today. Lin Jiutong said coldly. Yili smiled faintly and thought that Lin Jiutong was too proud of himself. One strike. Yili said 2 words to Lin Jiutong. What do you mean? Lin Jiutong asked coldly. Chapter 802, Lin Jiutong died. Lise reading Omicron N. Oxville. Omicron M. The genetic warriors on both sides of the Mystic Lake also heard Yili's words. They did not know what Yili meant by 1 strike. They all looked at Yi Li, wanting to hear what he would say. Yi Li nodded slightly and looked at the sun in the sky. He then said to Lin Jiotong, I only need one strike to kill you. What? When the genetic warriors on both sides of the mystic lake heard this, they all took 3 steps back, their eyes filled with shock. He said he could kill Lin Jiotong with only one strike. Although they all knew that Yi Li was very strong, even stronger than Lin Jiotong, killing Lin Jiotong with one strike was too much. Demon King Yi Li, you're really arrogant. I want to see how you can kill me with one strike. Lin Jiotong said coldly to Yi Li. Yi Li smiled and slowly said, since you don't believe me, I can only prove it to you. With that, Yi Li raised the ancient dragon abyss sword. Divine level skill, heavenly sword technique, divine level skill, heaven severing sword, and heavenly demon finger synthesized. At this moment, the ancient dragon abyss sword looked extremely terrifying. Lin Jiotong, I, Demon King Yi Li, will grant you death. Yi Li said slowly to Lin Jiotong. As soon as he finished speaking, the sword fell. Swish! This was an indescribable slash. When the genetic warriors on both sides of the mystic lake saw this sword, their bodies no longer just trembled. Their souls were submitting violently. There were even some who had already knelt on the ground. Boom! A shocking explosion occurred where Lin Jiotong was standing. The blinding light blinded everyone. When the dazzling light disappeared, the genetic warriors on both sides of the mystic lake hurriedly looked in Lin Jiotong's direction. What they saw shocked them. That was because Lin Jiotong was no longer in the air. Only the remaining piece of cloth slowly fell down. Was Lin Jiotong melted into nothingness? A genetic warrior said in shock. As soon as these words were spoken, the 2 shores of the mystic lake instantly exploded. Master is dead. Wang He's eyes were already red. The genetic warriors on both sides of the river looked at Yi Li, who was in midair, and realized that he was standing quietly in midair like an ancient demon god. Is this Demon King Yi Li's style? A young girl muttered to herself. Yi Li placed the ancient dragon abyss sword into the system space and glanced at the genetic warriors on both sides of the mystic lake. Everyone from the Wang family, stay here today, Yi Li said calmly. When the Wang family heard this, their hearts sank, as if their 3 souls and 7 spirits had been extracted. When the genetic warriors on both sides of the mystic lake heard this, they all looked at the Wang family in shock. They thought about Demon King Yi Li's reputation in the mystic land, which was known to everyone. How dare your Wang family offend Demon King Yi Li? Wasn't this courting death? For a moment, the genetic warriors looked at the Wang family with pity. Demon King Yi Li, you, don't go too far. The Wang family's head, Wang He's voice was already trembling. How could he still have the leisure to care if Lin Jiotong was dead or not? When Yi Li heard this, the corners of his mouth curled up slightly, and an evil smile appeared on his face. So what if I, Yi Li, have gone too far? Chapter 803, Preparations for Departure. Lise reading Omicron N. Oxville. Omicron M. Wang Hu glared at Yi Li, but there was nothing he could do. Yi Li, what exactly do you want? Yi Li was in midair. He looked down at Wang Hu and said calmly, I don't want anything. I just want everyone from the Wang family to die. As soon as these words were spoken, the genetic warriors on both sides of the mystic lake were shocked. The Wang family members collapsed to the ground in fright. They no longer had any strength in their bodies, and their souls were trembling involuntarily. Demon King Yi Li, let me tell you, before the Wang clan's patriarch, Wang Hu, could finish speaking, he would never be able to continue because a shocking bloody hole had appeared on his forehead at some point in time. The family head is dead. Everyone from the Wang family was terrified to the extreme. All. Ah! Ah! Countless screams sounded again. The Wang family fell to the ground one after another. Even until they died, they did not know how they died. However, Yili's handsome face remained unchanged. The genetic warriors on both sides of the mystic lake widened their eyes. They dared to swear that they would never forget what they had seen and heard today. Yili disappeared in midair. After that, Yili never entered Mystic City again. However, there were endless legends about him in Mystic City. In the center of Mystic City, a huge statue could be seen. This statue was the statue of Demon King Yili. The reason why Yili disappeared from the sky above the Mystic Lake was because the Apocalypse Legion had almost arrived at the Demon King Palace with the zombies. After arriving at the Demon King Mountain, Yili realized that countless zombies had appeared in front of him. The number of zombies was so huge that it could not be measured by numbers. After a few days and nights of synthesis, the level of the Apocalypse Legion had all increased to 7th tier Lord level zombies. Finally, the synthesis is complete. Yili let out a breath. Ding! Congratulations, host, for obtaining a chance to draw a random prize. At this moment, the system's voice appeared in Yili's mind. Yili used this chance without hesitation. The virtual pointer started to spin on the roulette wheel. A few seconds later, the pointer stopped. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a super treasure map. Hearing the system's voice, Yili showed a playful smile on his face. He thought that his luck was really unparalleled. Without thinking too much, Yili used the super treasure map. After using the super treasure map, the coordinates appeared in Yili's mind. However, this time, the coordinates were no longer in the Mystic Land, but in the Eastern Land. The Eastern Land was the most powerful region in the Eastern Realm. It was vast, and ordinary people would find it difficult to even walk 1% of it in their entire lives. Moreover, the spiritual energy there was extremely dense. Yili thought that now that he had had the incomplete 9-li pot, according to the treasures on the super treasure map, the treasure should be the 9-li pot. It seemed, Yili remembered that Qingzhu and Qingrua were from the Eastern Land and seemed to be disciples of the Silver Blizzard Palace. However, they had offended the Grand Elder and were chased all the way to the Mystic Land. Since that was the case, Yili wanted to bring them back and avenge them. After all, they were his disciples. However, he had to make some preparations before going. Yili thought that the strength of the Apocalypse Legion was still not high enough. 2 months later, Yili walked around the Mystic Land and synthesized all the zombies there. The Apocalypse Legion had finally all become 9th tier Lord level zombies. As for the Dark Race members of the Mystic Land, they either submitted or ran. The Demon King Palace had become an unprecedented supreme sect in the Mystic Land. Chapter 804, Someone Came from Silver Blizzard Palace. Lease reading Omicron N. Oxville. Omicron M. Ding. Congratulations to the host for becoming a 10th tier chosen one. The system's voice sounded in Yili's mind. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a chance to upgrade your skill. A chance to level up his skills. Yili smiled and upgraded the Heavenly Demon Finger without hesitation. The Heavenly Demon Finger had become a divine level skill. Above the 10th tier chosen ones were sky openers. Yili had yet to meet a sky opener, but he could imagine that a sky opener must be very strong. The Apocalypse Legion was now all Earth Lord level zombies. Above Earth Lord level zombies, it was Heavenly Lord level zombies. Demon King Palace. Yili called Qingzhu and Qingrua over. He had already asked Ling Shui to guard the Demon King Palace. Master, why are you looking for us? Sister and I still have to cultivate. Qingrua looked at Yili in confusion and asked. Qingzhu was now a 7th tier transcender, while Qingrua was a 6th tier transcender. Qingzhu, Qingrua, do you want to return to the Eastern Land? Yili looked at Qingzhu and Qingrua. Qingzhu and Qingrua were stunned for a moment before they nodded. Master, we naturally want to go back, but we offended the Grand Elder and our family cut ties with us. Before Qingrua could finish, Yili interrupted her. Then let's set off now, Yili said. Now. The two girls were stunned. It was obvious that they did not expect Yili to say such a thing. Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo came back to their senses a few seconds later and nodded firmly at Yili. At this moment, a disciple of the Demon King Palace ran in with a flustered expression. Lord Demon King, a group of genetic warriors came down the mountain. They said that they were from the Eastern Land. Yili smiled and thought that he still came to find her. Let's go, Yili said to the two girls. Then, Yili and the two girls headed down the Demon King Mountain. After arriving at the foot of the Demon King Mountain, more than 10 transcenders appeared in front of Yili. These transcenders were all at least 8th tier transcenders, and their leader was a tier 1 chosen one. Qing Zhu, Qing Ruo, you are indeed hiding here. The tier 1 chosen one smiled coldly at Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo. Han Qi. Qing Zhu glared at Han Qi. Han Qi was an outer sect elder of the Silver Blizzard Palace. He was the one who led the team to chase after Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo. Qing Zhu, Qing Ruo, we've been looking for you for so long. We've finally found you. After saying that, Han Qi turned to the two girls and said, So, are you going to surrender or be captured by us? Ants, Yili sighed slightly. His voice was not loud, but the dozen or so genetic warriors from the Silver Blizzard Palace could hear him. Brat, what did you just say? Han Qi stared at Yili. Yili slowly shook his head. I say, you bunch of ants, you don't even know that you're about to die. What did you say? Han Qi said firmly. Humph. Qing Zhu snorted and said, This is our master, Yili. Yili. Han Qi's heart sank. He had naturally heard of Demon King Yili's reputation. You're the Demon King Yili. I heard that you are very capable, even capable of flying. Is that true? Han Qi looked at Yili and said. Of course, Yili did not want to care about these ants in front of him. He glanced at Han Qi and the others indifferently and slowly said, Tell me, how do you want to die? Chapter 805, How do you want to die? Lise reading Omicron N. Oxville. Omicron M. Han Qi and the other Silver Blizzard Palace members were all stunned. They didn't expect Yili to say such a thing. Demon King Yili, what do you mean? Han Qi stared at Yili. Although he had heard of Yili's reputation in the Mystic Land, the Mystic Land was still the Mystic Land after all. They were from the Eastern Land. Don't you understand? Then I'll say it again. How do you want to die? Yili's face was calm. When Han Qi and the dozen or so genetic warriors of the Silver Blizzard Palace heard this, they were furious to the extreme and glared at Yili. Demon King Yili, I'd like to see how you're going to kill us. Han Qi shouted coldly. Yili smiled faintly and slowly said to Han Qi, Do you believe that I can let you see their corpses in a second? As soon as these words were spoken, Han Qi and the others were shocked again. They really did not expect Demon King Yili to be so arrogant to this extent. However, Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo knew that Yili was not being arrogant. They knew how terrifying Yili was. Demon King Yili, come then. As he spoke, a mocking expression appeared on Han Qi's face because he felt that Yili's words were too funny. Swish. 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 In an instant, dozens of wind-breaking sounds rang. Before Han Qi could react, he took a closer look and was scared out of his wits. This, Han Qi widened his eyes at the scene in front of him. The dozen or so genetic warriors behind him had already fallen to the ground, dying with grievances. How is this possible? Han Qi finally finished his sentence. His face was filled with extreme fear. Yili looked at Han Qi indifferently and said slowly, I said that I would let you see their corpses in 1 second. Do you believe me now? Han Qi swallowed his saliva and was extremely shocked. Although he had heard that Demon King Yili's strength was terrifying to the extreme, he did not believe it. He thought that a small mystic land could have any terrifying genetic warriors. But now, he realized that not only was he wrong, he was terribly wrong. Demon King Yili, how dare you kill someone from the Silver Blizzard Palace? Han Chi knew that he couldn't run away, so he could only try to use the fame of Silver Blizzard Palace to make Yili retreat. Unfortunately, he made a mistake. Yili was never afraid of anyone's threats. I'll ask you one more time. Are you ready to die? Yili looked at Han Chi. Han Chi was stunned. He didn't expect the mention of Silver Blizzard Palace to be unable to even make Yili's expression change. Demon King Yili, you, how could Han Chi still be able to say a complete sentence? He looked at Yili in horror. Alf! Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream sounded. The scream came from Han Chi. His body had already been pierced through. It was a shocking sight. You could have chosen how to die, but you didn't. Yili looked at Han Chi's corpse and said slowly. Qing Zhu looked at Han Chi's corpse and could not help but snort. Humph, you deserve it. Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo were chased miserably by Han Chi from the eastern land all the way to the mystic land. Let's go, Yili said to Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo. The two girls nodded, and the group headed towards the eastern land. Chapter 806. Now tell me how powerful you are. Lise reading Omicron N. Oxville. Omicron M. Eastern Land. The largest area in the Eastern Realm. Ordinary people would not be able to complete it even if they spent their entire lives. Yili, Qing Zhu, and Qing Ruo had already arrived at a city in the Eastern Land. This city was called Black Iron City. Black Iron City was a little smaller than Mystic City. There were many people on the streets, and there were as many genetic warriors as there were hairs on a cow. The beautiful appearance of the three of them shocked the pedestrians in Black Iron City. What Yili didn't expect was that even though the tree wanted to be quiet, the wind wouldn't stop blowing. A well-dressed young man stood in front of them. This young man was a Tier 1 Transcender, and behind him were 3 5th-tier Transcenders. You guys aren't from Black Iron City, right? The young man said to them. How do you know? Yili looked at the young man indifferently. The young man smiled. There's no one as handsome as you in Black Iron City. Of course, there's definitely no woman as good-looking as them. The young man's name was Su Nan, and he was the son of the city lord of Black Iron City. When the pedestrians on the street saw this, they stopped and looked. Who was Su Nan? That was the biggest playboy in Black Iron City. Without a doubt, there would be another good show. To be honest, I don't like your looks. Su Nan looked at Yili. Su Nan was the most handsome young man in Black Iron City, but he realized that compared to Yili, he could even be called ugly. Yili smiled faintly. There was no change in his handsome face as he said, "Oh? So what?" Su Nan looked at the smile on Yili's face and could not help but frown. Do you believe that I can send you to the prison of Black Iron City with just one sentence? The surrounding crowd shook their heads and sighed. They naturally knew what would happen to Yili, Qing Zhu, and Qing Ruo. After all, in a place like Black Iron City, Su Nan could do whatever he wanted. What the onlookers did not expect was that Yili would say such a thing. Yili looked at Su Nan indifferently and said, "No." Hearing these two words, everyone was stunned for a moment before they understood. Yili still did not know what kind of existence Su Nan was in Black Iron City. You don't believe me because you still don't know how powerful I, Su Nan, am. Su Nan smiled coldly. After saying that, he ordered the 3 5th-tier Transcenders behind him, arrest them. Following Su Nan's order, 3 5th-tier Transcenders walked towards them. Yili shook his head slightly. Why were there always so many ants looking for trouble with him? Alt. 3 blood-curdling screams rang out, and the 3 5th-tier Transcender were sent flying. They landed heavily on the ground and fainted. Hiss. The onlookers sucked in a breath of cold air. They didn't even see clearly how Yili attacked. This, Su Nan was also stunned. He froze on the spot as if he had been petrified. Just as everyone was shocked, Yili spoke again. You said that I still don't know how powerful you are. Now, tell me, how powerful are you? Yili looked at Su Nan indifferently and said. Su Nan stared at Yili. His 3 guards were all 5th-tier transcenders. He was a Tier 1 transcender, but he did not even see how the person in front of him attacked before they were sent flying. In other words, this person's strength was unfathomable. Don't be too arrogant. This is Black Iron City. Su Nan shouted at Yili. Chapter 807, Get on Your Knees. Lise reading Omicron N. Oxville. Omicron M. Everyone looked at Yili and the other two and thought that Su Nan was right. This was Black Iron City. Even if you were covered in iron, how many nails could you stick to? Get on your knees. Yili looked at Su Nan. What? When everyone heard this, they were all shocked to the extreme. Get on his knees. He actually made the young city lord of Black Iron City kneel down. They quickly dug their ears because they felt that they had heard wrongly. What did you say? Su Nan stared at Yili. He did not expect Yili to say such a thing. Kneel down. Don't make me say it a 3rd time, Yili said slowly to Su Nan. You're courting death. Su Nan could not help but roar angrily. Swoosh. Suddenly, a wind-breaking sound was heard. Su Nan, the young master of Black Iron City, screamed and immediately knelt in front of Yili. Su Nan did not want to kneel, but there was already a shocking bloody hole on his right leg. It hurts. It hurts. Su Nan shouted loudly. At this moment, the pain was so intense that it was simply unprecedented. The onlookers looked at each other. This was Black Iron City. Wasn't this person afraid? At this moment, someone had already gone to the City Lord Mansion to report. He believed that it would not be long before the guards of the City Lord Mansion arrived. You wait. Su Nan endured the pain and said fiercely to Yili. Yili smiled faintly. There was no change in his handsome face. He slowly said, You want me, Yili, to wait? As soon as he finished speaking, another wind-breaking sound appeared. Another shocking bloody hole appeared on Su Nan's other leg. Ah! Su Nan let out a blood-curdling scream that sounded like a pig being slaughtered. The tragic scream was really shocking. Qing Zhu and Qing Rua looked at Yili's back. For some reason, their hearts started to beat wildly because they felt really safe with Yili. Make way. Make way. Suddenly, a loud shout entered everyone's ears. The onlookers quickly looked in the direction of the voice and saw dozens of guards from the City Lord Mansion running over. These guards were all 8th-tier transcenders, and the captain was a 10th-tier transcender. As long as he advanced further, he would become a chosen one. The dozens of genetic warriors from the City Lord's mansion came to Su Nan's side and looked at Su Nan in shock. They did not expect that someone would dare to attack Su Nan in a place like Black Iron City. Young City Lord, who did it? The guard captain quickly asked. It's him. Su Nan gritted his teeth and glared at Yili. Dozens of genetic warriors looked at Yili in unison, their faces filled with anger. Brat, did you eat a bear's heart or a leopard's gall? The guard captain roared at Yili. Yili's face was as calm as water, as if he didn't hear anything. What are you going to do? Yili looked at the dozens of guards from the City Lord Mansion. What? The captain smiled coldly. He felt that Yili's words were too funny. He continued, You heard our young City Lord. Why are you asking us now? There was still no change in Yili's expression as he slowly said, So you're here to kill me? The onlookers looked at Yili in shock. They did not understand why Yili was not afraid. Was he not afraid of death? Chapter 808, The Power of One Finger. Lise reading Omicron N. Oxville. Omicron M. The guard captain sneered. Brat, one didn't expect you not to be stupid. Hee hee. Yili smiled leisurely. The guards team of the City Lord Mansion were all stunned. They did not understand why Yili could still smile. What are you laughing at? The captain stared at Yili. Yili looked at the captain indifferently. Do you really think you can kill me, Yili? The onlookers were shocked. There was no doubt that the guards of the City Lord Mansion were very strong. Now that Yili was surrounded by dozens of people, could it be that he still wanted to escape? Brat, do you think we can't kill you? The captain stared at Yili and said coldly. Yili shook his head slightly. With your group of transcenders and a Tier 1 chosen one like you? As soon as these words were spoken, the guards were shocked. What an arrogant brat. Hand over your life. As soon as the guard captain finished speaking, he stretched out a big hand and attacked Yili. Yili secretly smiled. He didn't understand why these people were so stupid. Die. Yili said these two words softly. The captain's body froze. He widened his eyes and looked at Yili. He used the last bit of strength in his body to say, you. Then, the guard captain fell as his life disappeared from this world forever. Hiss. How was that possible? The guards team of the City Lord's Mansion gasped and looked at Yili in horror. As for the onlookers, they were already scared out of wits. Ants. Yili also shook his head. Dozens of guard teams looked at Yili in shock. You actually dared to kill our captain. An 8th-tier transcender stared at Yili and said. Yili smiled and glanced indifferently at the dozens of guards in front of him. Is it strange? Aren't you going to be killed by me too? When the dozens of guards from the City Lord's Mansion heard this, they were all scared out of their wits. But before they could say anything, Yili had already raised a finger. With my finger, one can kill everyone in the world. As soon as he finished speaking, his finger fell. The power of the divine level skill, Heavenly Demon Finger, could be imagined. Alt. Ah. Ah. In an instant, dozens of genetic warriors in the City Lord Mansion died. The onlookers were all so frightened that they trembled. A chill rushed from their tailbones to the top of their heads. Everyone swallowed their saliva and looked at Yili with utter fright. This was a true demon lord. Let's go. Yili looked at Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo. Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo were stunned and looked at Yili. It was obvious that they did not understand where Yili was going. Master, where are we going? Qing Ruo asked Yili, the City Lord Mansion. Yili revealed his side profile and spoke slowly. Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo were stunned again. They wondered if their master was preparing. They all thought of a shocking possibility, which was that Yili was going to destroy the City Lord Mansion of Black Iron City. Master, are you going to destroy the City Lord Mansion? Qing Zhu asked. Yili stopped in his tracks when he heard this. He turned around and looked at the two girls calmly. Correct. With that, Yili continued to walk forward. Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo looked at each other and immediately followed. City Lord Mansion. The sound of a cup being smashed filled the entire City Lord Mansion. What? City Lord Su Shan flew into a rage. Chapter 809, Destroy the City Lord Mansion. Lise reading Omicron N. Oxville. Omicron M. The City Lord of Black Iron City, Su Shan, was so angry that his eyes turned red. The entire guard team was wiped out. Su Shan stared at a rank 3 evolved being in the hall and shouted. Yes, City Lord. I don't know where that person came from, but he's terrifying. The rank 3 evolved being lowered his head and replied. At this moment, Su Shan's face was terrifyingly cold. How's the young master? Young master is in the hospital. He should be fine. The genetic warriors in the hall were also stunned. What kind of existence could wipe out the entire guard team? City Lord. At this moment, another evolved being ran in with a shocked expression. What's wrong? City Lord Su Shan hurriedly asked. City Lord, there is a man and 2 women outside. They said that they want to destroy our City Lord residence. What? All the genetic warriors in the hall were shocked. Really? A Tier 2 chosen one asked. That's right. He looks quite confident. City Lord Su Shan gritted his teeth. His expression was frighteningly cold. Everyone, follow me out to take a look. Then, City Lord Su Shan led a group of genetic warriors out of the City Lord mansion. Not long after, they arrived outside the City Lord mansion and stared at Yi Li, Qing Zhu, and Qing Ruo. Are you the ones who want to destroy us? Yu Shan asked coldly. Yi Li smiled. That's right. If I'm not wrong, you killed the City Lord's guard team, right? Yes, it is. Yi Li nodded. City Lord Su Shan and the genetic warriors' expressions turned cold. There's a path to heaven, but you don't take it, there is no gate to hell, but you force your way in. Su Shan stared at Yi Li and said. Yi Li smiled calmly. He felt that this Su Shan was too interesting. Why are you still hesitating? Yi Li said calmly. Su Shan and the genetic warriors did not understand what Yi Li meant. Brat, what do you mean? City Lord Su Shan shouted with a cold expression. Yi Li smiled leisurely and said calmly to City Lord Su Shan, don't you understand? I'm asking you to come and die. As soon as these words were spoken, Su Shan and the genetic warriors were furious. You're seeking death. A Tier 2 chosen one shouted angrily and attacked Yi Li. Yi Li secretly smiled and thought that it was another stupid fly. Swish. With a wind-breaking sound, this Tier 2 chosen one instantly died. What? City Lord Su Shan and the genetic warriors were dumbfounded. They had never expected such a situation. Are you guys very shocked? Yi Li looked at Su Shan and the genetic warriors. Could Su Shan and the genetic warriors only be shocked? They were simply shocked to the extreme. Before they could say anything, they heard Yi Li say, actually, there's no need for you to be shocked, because you're about to die. The dead won't be shocked. When Su Shan and the genetic warriors heard this, their pupils could not help but constrict. However, Yi Li had already raised his finger and released the god-level skill, Heavenly Demon Finger. Could such an attack be described with words? Could City Lord Su Shan and the genetic warriors dodge such an attack? At the last moment of their lives, they shouted, I'm finished. Then, they all died. Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo exchanged glances. They no longer knew how terrifying their master was. Was such a person really real? Chapter 8:10. If you cut the grass, remember to remove the roots. Lease reading Omicron N. Oxville. Omicron M. The news spread with the wind, and it didn't take long for the entire Black Iron City to know. In an instant, Black Iron City was in an uproar. Black Iron City, Shingon Hospital. The City Lord Mansion has been destroyed. A young man's slightly handsome face was filled with extreme fear. The young man was none other than the young City Lord of Black Iron City, Su Nan. What should I do? What should one do? Su Nan's voice trembled violently. He felt extremely regretful. If he had known this would happen, he would not have provoked Yi Li even if he was given 100 guts. Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret in this world. You don't have to be afraid. Suddenly, a voice entered Su Nan's ears. The City Lord Mansion has been destroyed, and my father is dead. How can one not? Before Su Nan could finish his sentence, his pupils constricted rapidly. A man appeared in the ward. You, Su Nan looked at the person in front of him, so frightened that his soul almost left his body. Why are you afraid again? Yili looked at Su Nan and asked calmly. I, how could Su Nan still be able to say a complete sentence? His slightly handsome face was as afraid as it could be. Yili looked at the frightened expression on Su Nan's face and said calmly, I think you should know that the dead are never afraid. When Su Nan heard this, tears instantly flowed down his face. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. As the saying went, men didn't cry easily, only because he had yet to reach the depth of his sorrow. Anyone could tell that Su Nan's desire to live was extremely strong. Don't kill you. The corners of Yili's lips curled up slightly, and a cold smile appeared on his handsome face. If I, Yili, am just an ordinary person, will you let me off when one offend you? Will you give me a chance to live? As soon as he finished speaking, a shocking bloody hole appeared on Su Nan's forehead. Isn't this a little too cruel? Outside the ward, Qing Rua muttered softly. Just as Qing Zhu was about to speak, Yili pushed open the door and said, I'm not being cruel. Today, I'll teach you a principle. If you cut the grass, remember to remove the roots. Qing Zhu and Qing Rua were stunned. If you cut the grass, remember to remove the roots. Yili, Qing Zhu, and Qing Rua stayed in Black Iron City for a few days. Everyone was extremely scared when they saw them. On this day, the clouds did not move, and the wind did not blow. Dark clouds suddenly covered the sky above Black Iron City. Yili and the rest were living in the city lord mansion when an old man suddenly appeared in front of Yili. This old man was around 70 years old. He was dressed in tattered clothes, had black and white hair, and looked so sickly as if he only had a few days left to live. Grandpa, what's wrong with you? Qing Rua said anxiously. Little girl, I have a worry in my heart. The old man pretended to be mysterious. A worry in my heart. Qing Zhu and Qing Rua were stunned. Yili was amused. He thought that this old man was interesting. A worry in his heart. Wait. He suddenly realized that this old man did not have the aura of a human. Could it be demons? Yili knew that there were demons in the eastern land. As the saying goes, don't judge a book by its cover. Old man, what do you want? Yili looked at the old man calmly. The old man smiled slowly. Demon King Yili, of course I'm here for you. For me? Yili didn't understand. Why did you come for me? You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.